Now, we're live, streaming to the world.
Are we?
Yes, we are. I know we're not showing it, but I've set it up. We are running. So I better play the intro. Quick, John, fix your computer. No pressure.
Wait till we're halfway through. When we see it, I'll suddenly go blank.
Hello and good evening. Welcome to the Flory Model live show. Here we are with you on Thursday, the 12th of November, 2021-1213. As it clearly says on my date there. Look, it's the 212th of November. Yeah. One day it will be. Tell you. You're going to have add naught somewhere. So yes, good evening. Welcome. I don't know why, but the viewership, it was showing like 170 odd and it just dropped to 153. Don't know, random. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Back with you again. It only feels like yesterday from a fantastic long weekend of live shows that we did to you. First of all, obviously, I just did a little thank you, just to thank you guys for being the membership, for allowing us to do it, for obviously, you know, the world in theory, because obviously it went as a freebie out to the world. And then you guys blew us away with all your kind messages coming back saying, no, thank you for all the time you put into it and everything else. But no, thank you. To be honest with you, still catching up with orders, pretty much there now. I have to say, from a personal note from me, the only thing is I've run out of some of the pigments. It's on order. It was supposed to have been on Monday, and now they're telling me it's going to be Monday. So a week later, basically, it's just got lost in the system somewhere, and I think it's bounced back to them, and they're resending it out. So if you've ordered pigment sets with me, that's why you haven't got them yet. But as soon as it comes in, I will get them out. If they don't come in by, obviously, you know, Monday or something else like that, then I'll shoot you a message and all the rest of it. But hopefully they will be in ASAP. Apart from that, as of today, all orders are up to date. So apart from pigments, everybody else's order has gone out. Please, I've had a few people saying about tracking information. You do get sent emails that say you've had an order, it says it's been processed, and then you get another one to say it's been dispatched. If you haven't got it, check your spam boxes, because more than likely it'll be in there with all your tracking information and your details and stuff like that. But massive thank you to everybody who placed orders. It really blew us away. I know Matt's been at it solidly as well, getting them all out, so bless him. At least I stand in one spot. My way is very confined. I've got to walk around the warehouse and pick all this stuff like he has. So hats off to Matt having to do all of that. I thought it was bad enough stood in a 6-foot bubble doing it, let alone going around a warehouse doing it. So, but yes, we are finally there and on top. But thank you to everybody who joined in with us. Thank you, everybody, for the kind comments and feedback and messages, so forth and so on. We thoroughly enjoyed it, didn't we, guys?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, they don't sound enthusiastic because they're in Telford. I almost said COVID then, not quite. Well, apart from Andy, case. But yes, it's that thing. Everyone's still a little bit tired. I think they're very subdued. Bless them.
Yeah, we're all right. It's just been a busy week, hasn't it? So just on my point of view with orders, like Phil, I've got most of mine out. I've got a few going out being picked up tomorrow. And I'm also waiting on an order coming in to fulfill the ones that's not been sent. I've just actually had the tracking come through, so it'll be here on Monday. So they'll be dispatched Monday. Also, people who's ordered the 110s, they'll be out before the end of the weekend. I've done some tonight. I'm going to do the rest probably tomorrow. Also, the 432s, and we've also had the Tornado 30-second kits in, which Andy has invoiced you as well. So if you've pre-ordered one of them, and then again, I'll get them booked in. To be honest, they probably won't be picked up till Monday now, because obviously it's weekend. But yeah, pretty much up to date, to be honest, with gaming. So yeah, it's been, like I say, it's been full on. I've definitely put my steps in.
I was going to say, you should have had a little step thing on. Could have done your mileage around the unit.
I'm just going to claim for a new pair of trainers if I wore the tread out.
And we do have to say as well. Sorry, go on.
No, it's been good. So thank you to everybody who has placed orders. Like Phil says, it's it's been full on.
Yes, definitely. And the other exciting news is that the studio area has been painted, decorated, electrified, and ready to go.
Yes. They did.
So
the lights
are we going to have a big unveiling next week, or maybe even tomorrow, if it's done in time?
It's not going to be fully up and running. It'll be up and running tomorrow to a point, but obviously it's going to need some things hanging on the wall and a bit more decorating done. Decorations.
Yes.
But tomorrow it will be, as in the desk back up. I've got to move my computer back out because I think Leslie's proper had enough of me being in her office now. She keeps hinting. And all the stuff that were upstairs. So when I was doing it from upstairs, it's coming down, like the tables and the camera and all the bits and bobs. So yeah, be ready to go. Going to put one of the glass cabinets in as a backdrop, and probably one of the plastic rackings for now, until we can find something more suitable as a backdrop on the back wall for when we're doing a Wednesday show, so we can put stuff on it and, you know, just fill the space really, instead of just looking at a blank wall. So
very nice.
Yeah, it's going to be very nice in there. It's very bright.
I must admit, when you sent the photos, because it's night and light and we've got proper lighting with white walls now and everything else, it should be fantastic for filming purposes. Seeing what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah, looking forward to getting back in there, to be honest. I haven't got a proper heater in there as well now. So
I know, it'd be like a sauna. You'll be able to come round, hopefully, when we reopen the store in years to come, and you can see Andy there in a little toga thing, slapping himself with some birch.
Please, we got to sleep tonight.
Don't knock it. You should see John. He'll be in there as well.
Halloween were a couple of weeks ago.
That's it. It'd be like a Bond villain's lair.
Oh, God.
We've got John as odd job. Anyway, right. Very good. Excellent. So one of the big things, obviously, we spoke about on the Friday show. If you didn't join us, Nathan did an absolutely fantastic presentation, which we won't go right the way through. We'll just do a quick recap of it, of the group builds for next year. So obviously, this is the 2021 group build schedule. If you haven't seen it before, if you go into the area, I'll link it on the bottom of today's show as well. Both main site and in the forum, so you can go off, and he's done an amazing PDF, which, you know, we've never had one of these before. This is like, it's like futuristic. So basically it's got all the ones down in here. So first up is going to be the group build. It's going to be the swinging 60s group build, obviously running from the 1st of January to the 30th of June. Full details of it all are down in here, as you can see, and there's a little bit more about it as well. But basically the scope, actually, the thing is, while I was going through, you think the Phantom came into service as well, and various things like that. It was like, yeah, lots of different things, and the space race, and obviously everything that happened in the 60s military-wise as well, and civilian, don't forget, and everything else. There's some great scope of different things to do in there. And then we've got on the second one for the group build, which is obviously from the summer running into the end of the year next year, is going to be the Out of Africa group build, which I think is the one most people are quite excited about. And rightly so, because again, after the success of the South American group build, this is one for the African states. And again, there's a few little things to keep an eye on with the rules and regs in there. And we spoke about them at length on the Friday show. So if you're not sure, go back and watch the Friday show, and we went right the way through it. But anyway, a really, really nice one about that one as well. Some great stuff down in there. For all you seamen out there, we've got the High Seas SIG on January the 1st to the 30th of April. So this does include, obviously, anything that floats or stays above water. So naval, marine stuff, obviously, right the way through. But it's been said, maritime, aircraft, that type of thing, that counts as well. So anything like that along the way. So probably I'm going to do my 0 then, because that fits in there. So that fits that one perfectly for beginning next year. Good one down there for our friends down in the what do they call it? The not the Australians. What do they call the area of the world?
Antibes, isn't it?
Antibes, that's the thing, something like that. Down in there. So we've got one for them. So this is the Anzac special group build. So that's going to run 25th of April. It's a little bit forward, so we fall in with Anzac Day till the 31st of August. Okay, so a really nice one down in there. Lots of scope as well. Some fantastic subjects involved with that one. So good one there. And then last up, we've got the Comrade Buller SIG. Running from the 1st of September to the 31st of December to finish out the year as well. And our very own Mr. Buller, as you can see down in there, as he was, because obviously he is a time traveller. Some dubious friends, clearly, but anyway, that hasn't changed. So anyway, basically, you've got anything, as I call it, that's got a red star on it. So this is proper Soviet, the USSR days. Rather than the Federation as it is these days. Okay, so again, amazing amount of scope and various things you can do in there as well. There is a rules thing down in here as well, and there's a fantastic quick reference guide as well to the areas as well. So if you want to print that one off and stick it on your wall, just print page 9. I think it's page 9 in it. Yeah, page 9 in there. And you can then stick that on your wall and you'll be up to date of when things are and a brief overview of them. Okay, but it is worth having a look. Have a quick read through, familiarise yourself. And like we said on Friday's show, if you have to question it, the answer's no. I think that's what we've all agreed on, or that's my way of dealing with this. So the bit where you think, does it qualify? Would that qualify? Then if you've got to think it, then technically the answer is no. Okay, so we're not having any of these things about what if and maybe, and they used it on a Thursday once. It doesn't count anymore. So we're being a little bit more harsh on this.
Well said.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the plan with that one. So yes, good job, good job. I haven't got chat on anyway. Has anyone got chat on? Just checking.
Yeah.
That's it.
Andy,
Sorry.
as he was smiling at something somebody said. What they said, Andy?
What was that?
Yes.
What have you done? Do you know what? This is what worries me, because this lot start grinning amongst themselves, and I know the bastards are up to something, and it's normally at the brunt of my joke, or I'm going to be it, one or the other. That's why I get very, very worried with this lot. Anyway, so that's the scoop for obviously next year. You can plan your builds around it. Obviously, like we've always said, you know, don't feel you have to take part. Clearly you don't. You can pick and choose the one you want to do. If you do want to join in, absolutely. There's no pressure with the group builds. The main rule is you have fun. At the end of the day, just have fun with it. Don't, you know, obviously put too much pressure on yourself. All we ask literally is to have a simple, you know, but a right the way through build thread. That's all we actually ask for it. So it does start at the beginning and it follows your journey, not just I've opened the box and here's the finished item, because those won't qualify either. Okay, so no more of this 1, 2, miss a few, 99 and it's done. Okay, we are looking for full right the ones through to complete, to qualify at the end of it. Okay, so that'll be another nice thing as well.
That's me out of doing them then, isn't it?
Yes. So
can I be excused then, please, sir?
Yes, that's it. No, you're not. You're doing live stuff with me, so you'll be all right. I'll make him do them then. So there we go. Yeah, no, that's not Matt going blurry with his glasses. I think that's just literally his internet connection.
Yeah.
But he's all right. He's going from 8-bit to blurry. So either that or it may be it's focusing a bit bad, is it? I don't know. I haven't been watching. So. But no, he definitely does need to clean his glasses. I think that's something else. Anyway, to keep us back on a normal track, what we're going to do now is have a look at your great work to see what you've been up to. So to be honest with you, as might be imagined, I'm probably with Matt on this one. I haven't even really been in the forum. I've been around keeping an eye on things, but I haven't been looking at your great work. So, but the other guys have, and they've come up with a few little gems. So, who picked this one?
Me.
Son.
Go on then, John. You can talk us through it. What do you like about it?
What caught me about this was the photography.
Yeah.
Very nice. This is Ian's lovely Sopwith triplane.
I mean, it's a lovely build, but obviously I'm guessing he's photographed it outside and managed to sort of use a grassy base
and somewhat blend it in with the background.
With a real backdrop, and it looks really effective.
Doesn't it?
I tell you what I love about it as well. The model is beautifully done anyway, that aside. But also, it's really nice to see this type of aircraft in natural daylight, because, again, you've got the wood looks better, I think.
Yeah.
And you can see the rigging, because it's in daylight, stands out a little bit more and things like that. But it just has that real nice look to it in proper daylight, instead of being under studio lights and, you know, playing with all the camera settings. And the model itself absolutely comes alive. And the figure as well looks absolutely fantastic. Very, very nice indeed.
You're hard pressed to realise it's a model and not a real thing in some of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that picture there is an absolutely beautiful one. Yeah, you wouldn't know at all. It's gorgeous. Very, very nice, with a nice autumnal feel to it.
Yeah, it's good. Isn't it? That one's good, isn't it? Like the back of him.
Yeah.
Really effective, that is.
It's a nice finish that the cowling is slightly glossy, whereas the fabric is not. So it's got sort of finishes. It looks real. It's uncanny, isn't it?
Yeah. He's put a lot of thought into that.
Take it that's Raymond Collishore, is it?
I believe so.
Yes.
Beautiful work, isn't
Looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I wonder how much that kit's worth nowadays.
About £3 million, I think.
£3 million.
Nice weather in as well.
For what that's worth.
Yeah, you can have the kit or the real thing. They're the same price.
Yeah.
But no, very, very nicely done. And a
It's
nice
cool.
photo, because obviously that photo there could just, technically be the genuine one, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Very, very nicely done. Very cool. Beautiful build, beautiful work. And as I say, the photograph is absolutely fantastic. So congratulations to him on that one. Very, very nicely done. Okay, next up we've got Ian again. Is it Ian again? Was it Ian before? Sorry. Tinsley and Taylor. Sorry, wrong Ians. Just getting confused. So this, I must admit, I saw this one when you guys put it up earlier. Absolute chunk, isn't it? That's a proper piece of metal.
Yeah.
Proper, piece of kit, isn't it?
Let's face it, if you've got like people throwing bricks at you, you need something heavy duty. So what we got here, this is the Tiger model, 1/35 scale, and it's the doghouse.
Yep.
Very
That's a
nicely
lot of
done.
meal.
Beautifully
to
done.
do sometime.
Really nice with the dirt and that sort of grimed look that they get, like that.
Yeah.
So that's based on the Centurion, isn't it?
Yeah.
These here, do these throw out giant nets? You can have those fire nets out.
It's like it's from a Mad Max film.
It is, isn't it? If you imagine them firing nets out at people to capture them.
Or Death Race.
Yeah, that's it. Or death rays. Oh, no, you have that in the turret. But no, it is a chunk and a half, isn't it? Very, very nice as well. Flag's beautiful as well. It's great with the stark contrast of like the grime of the armour. It's got that real nice, heavy, grimy look. And the pristine flag looks absolutely fantastic. Sets it off very, very nicely.
There's a few versions of that, isn't there? That, like as in Hobby Boss, I know do one, and what's that one? The Panda one, is that, did you say?
Tiger
No,
model,
this was, whose was it?
Tiger models.
Tiger models, sorry.
Yeah.
Somebody else does one. Who's the other one who do one? Oh, Meng. No,
Meng
not
do
Meng.
it, yeah.
Oh, Meng don't do one, they do a different one. Somebody
I
else
think
does.
Tiger models do two different versions.
Yeah, Meng, Hobby Boss do as well.
Yeah.
Chris is asking what the rotary washing line on the back is for.
That stops birds landing on your antenna.
Yeah.
But
I like
the smokes on.
the effect is really stunning. The tracks, whether some of the mucks in the tracks are really good.
The thing is, that's really well weathered, and it's not overly weathered, but you can, it all ties together really nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not overly done.
And it's nice, like with the whiteness of the insulator,
Yeah.
got the insulation sleeve over the top as it would be. Again, it's really nice having the contrast with the colours and things around, like the grab handles as well being in the red, but they're weathered in red. So, Christ, how many guns has this thing got? It's got 4 guns on it. Because pointing your turret in one direction clearly
it
isn't
looks
enough.
heavy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does look heavy, you're right, Don, it does, yeah.
Yes. And again, fantastic photographs as well. Really, really nice with that one.
Andy's just about to buy one now, aren't you, Andy? After seeing
Andy's
it.
now currently
I've
looking
got one.
online, is he?
Have you got one? Who's you got?
Yeah.
Have you got the same kit?
Yeah.
Oh, right, Panda one. Oh.
Tiger model.
Tiger model. I keep saying Panda model. I've got Panda models in my head for some reason.
Okay, so next up we've got Nick, and he has done the Rise of Skywalker Bandai 1/4 scale for the group build. Very
I
nicely done
picked this
indeed.
one, I think. I just like the weathering on it, and it's a tiny one, isn't it? It's really
Yeah,
diddy,
the little one.
and it's the weathering. I think it's nicely grimed up. I like that one.
Yeah. If you're going to do a Falcon, you have to grime it up.
You can't go wrong with Millennium Falcon, can you?
No. Still a good-looking hamburger. Or sunfish, wasn't it, originally? It was supposed to fly on its edge with a cockpit at the top. Yeah, like the sunfish.
Yeah.
That was the original sort of brief for it, was to be something like that.
Oh right, what happened to that concept then? Did that get pinned off? Obviously,
Yeah.
for
Well, the original concept, wasn't it, was it looked a little bit like the Space 1999 Eagle.
right.
They turned around and said, you can't have that because it looks just like the Space 1999 Eagle. So, and it was like, does it? And they were like, yes. So, and apparently the designers had never seen Space 1999. So they said it was a pure fluke, but it literally does look like an Eagle lander. So anyway, they came up with that. So apparently the brief was it was a bit like a sunfish. So, or, you know, like a squashed hamburger. So that's what it was. And it was supposed to fly on its edge, but they changed it and flew flat instead, which is probably a bit easier to land it rather than on its edge, you know. But yeah, really very, very nice on that. Good job. We like that. We like that a lot. Okay, one me and Matt were discussing.
Yes.
This is from Michael's done the 72nd Hobby Boss little MI2 Hoplite.
Yeah.
And that colour scheme's horrendous.
It is, isn't it?
Whichever way you look at it.
Awful, isn't it? It's nice.
Terrible colour scheme.
It fits the brief of the group build, and it's something I've never heard of. The film.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good choice of subject, and then it's horrible.
The funny thing was, when me and Matt were talking about it, we were talking how garish and horrible it was. But as we point out, the model, because it's got like a different colour green on it, I think the model looks better than the real thing.
Yeah, it
Not quite
does.
as shocking as the guy in the suit stood next to it. That suit.
But anyway, back to the model itself. Beautifully done, really nicely weathered and right the way through. But I prefer the shade of green on here because the one on the real thing's a bit garish, but this green looks far more, I would call, military type colour anyway. So very nicely done.
Nice finish as well. I bet that's a tricky build, that, you know. I bet that kit's a bit of a bugger to put together.
Yeah, we've got a lot of clear parts in there to wedge in.
It's not too bad. I've built one, but it is a tiny little kit. It's small.
It is proper diddy, isn't it? It needs a picture of a paint pot next to it to realise
I think that's right. You're right. It does need a bit of scale on there because it is tiny.
I mean, that fella that stood next to it is, what, an inch tall? 72?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really diddy. Looks
Beautiful, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Good work. Really nice
Yeah.
work.
All the scale, that's the thing. That's a testament to a good build.
It's a testament to a good build when it's better than the real thing.
It is. I prefer that to the real thing. That's the stupid thing. I think that's got nicer colours. It's better presented. You know, you see it on there. Like, the hell is that? I've got some leftover paint from when I did my house.
It's just random. Let's grab 3 pots and off we go.
Yeah.
I've actually just noticed the real one's got red wheels as well.
Yeah.
It's got red wheels, 2 shades of blue and a horrible shade of green.
It's whatever was found in the back of the paint stores, isn't it?
I think
Yes.
somebody was colourblind.
Oh.
Anyway, what film was it about? What's the film anyway? It's
It
from?
does say on here it was took part in a Polish crime series of movies in the 70s, 80s called 07 God knows what.
Yeah.
My name's Bond.
Yeah, that's it. It's the Polish 007.
It's the Polish Bond.
Very nice. But no, very good build. Like that one. We like it a lot. Now, I did have another one and I've lost it. What have I done with it? Oh, God. Hold on. Brace yourself, everyone. I've just got to pop off and try and find it. Like, seriously. Look at the team a minute because I'm going to have to go off to the other way and find it. Right, you look at them and I'll find out what the...
Chat, Andy.
So I found it. Come back. So I found it.
Oh, yes, I love this one.
There we go. This is Joanna. She's done the 116 Alpine Miniatures Mr. Rommel.
I just love the leather work on it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And it just so captures his look perfectly, doesn't it?
Definitely looks like Rommel.
Yes, it does look like Rommel, doesn't it? He's got that look.
But I thought the leather work on the coat was
And
brilliant.
he liked a bit of leather.
Somebody asked over the Telford weekend, didn't they, about how do you paint worn leather?
Leather. I love that build.
There you go, yeah.
It's just spot on. Leather work is amazing. So there you go.
Thing is with leather work, you know, like painting leather work, yeah, obviously depending if you're doing black or whatever colour, but it's actually like skin, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when it gets wars, you worn, that's the best bit, when you can like do it where it's cracking and stuff like that, because it is actually just dyed skin. So as grim as it may sound, you can actually beat them up and they look really good.
Because then again on the weekend, someone did actually say that Alpine miniatures are worth looking at, and you look at that sculpt, it is 100% caught the look perfectly, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, the Alpine miniature sculpts are amazing. Like,
just literally.
They don't do so much of the bigger stuff. They do loads of 135th. But like I say, the few bigger stuff that they do is, again, it's top quality stuff. So yeah, nice.
Very nice. Good job on that one. So well done, Joanne. That looks absolutely fantastic. Good job.
Well done.
Well done.
Nigel said,
nice to see some figures.
Yes.
Nigel said his parents had a cat called Rommel.
Rommel and Monty. Mind you, I had 2 hamsters called Lenin and Stalin.
Okay.
They were Russian dwarf hamsters, and the only 2 Russian names I could think of was Lenin and Stalin.
God.
Fair enough. Right. Okay. So, without further ado, should we have a look at the Q&A area? Because I think there's some good ones in there today. I've got, if I can find all of this. Okay. Hold on. I just need to go back a bit. 9 days ago. Were we on 9 days ago? We would have done. So perhaps we've already done that one, have we? At some point in the future, the COVID-19, all of this, raw material seems direct molding process. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, I'll read that again. It seems I just did it to myself almost. At some point in the future, when COVID-19 is well and truly behind us, and the one aspect of the hobby that has never, as far as I know, been shown on a site like this is the kit manufacturing process, from CAD to moldings and raw materials, and seeing the injection molding process. I'm sure it'd be fascinating insight to the hobby, visually seeing why injector pins and sinkholes and short shots, etc. Well, I don't think you'll get many manufacturers admit to doing those, because clearly they won't. To be honest, we've been through this before. The trouble you've got is that, you know, a lot of the time, if we take Airfix just for interest, or, you know, with Pranjit, we've spoken to him at length about the design process, and we've gone through all of that. Then it will get handed off to a tool making company who will make the mold for it. That's normally in China. And then the injection molding company might be in somewhere like India or something. The packaging might be then back in the UK or in Europe or somewhere else. So to go round to each section in turn with a company is very difficult, unless it's one of the few companies out there that do it in-house, like Bandai obviously do all theirs in-house. Edar do a bit of theirs in-house and things like that. Then they've got their own injection molding machines. There has been videos, if you look up on YouTube, that actually show it. And some friends of ours at the site, John has been to China, and he went to the trumpeter factory, and he went all the way through it. But like he said, they're very, very cagey on what they'll say. You're not allowed to talk about anything. They weren't allowed to film in it. They're not allowed to discuss certain things that they might see or might not have seen, because each company, a lot of it, it's all very secretive. It's not just a case of how they work on what they're working on, it's how they do it as well. Because obviously, you know, they are in competition with each other. So from a manufacturing point of view, for a company to throw out the doors and say, this is how we do it, is not very likely at all. And when I've spoken to other companies about it in the past and, you know, tried to get a little bit of onto them, that's normally where it comes in. It's trade secrets and company secrets, how they do it, why they do it and stuff like that. They tend to keep it to themselves. But as you say, there is plenty of videos on there. And even if it's not this injection molding, I know other injection molding. One of my clients, one of my biggest, best clients, he owned a probably £billion company, which was an injection molding company. And funny enough, they made like patio furniture and stuff. So, you know, that is the thing. It's one of those, it will be different ways of doing it from ours to doing something like that, as would be, you know, various tools and stuff, you know, from injection molding. And I know we've actually got injection molding guys on the forum who work in that side of it as well. So, yes, it's just one of those things. Plus, Trumpeter is a communist enterprise.
I'll go for you if you want. I'll go to India. I'll go to China. Take the pictures. I'm on company account, obviously.
Well, we'll pay for you to go. It'll be fine. So yes, that's the little thing with it. But as I say, we have spoken to companies before, and as I say, when we've had, and I'm sure he'll be watching tonight, he's probably in chat as even it is obviously with Pramjet, he's talked about design of why ejector pins are in certain locations and various things. That comes down to more the engineering side about how to get bits out of the mold in one bit. So they might come up with a design for the parts and all the rest of it, but then the engineering side has to figure out how you're going to get it out of the mold. So working together, they sort of can nudge things around to try and do it. But obviously the cleanest and easiest way to get any part of it out of a mold is to have lots of ejector pins to push it very evenly clean out to get good separation. Because we've all had it and we've seen kits where it doesn't come out of the mold nicely, and that's where you get, the white plastic being bent and stuff like that. Sometimes it might be just down to release, but sometimes the actual injection molding tooling isn't as sharp as it should be, and that's where you're not going to get companies talk about it, because they're not going to say, well, we use cheap injection molding stuff and it's not very good, because it's just one of those things. There you go. There's a guy in chat, Asterios. He says, I'm an injection molding engineer. There we go. He'll know all about it. As I say,
talk to him.
Talk to him.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Edard do open days, and I'm pretty sure there's been stuff on their website of factory tours. So if you're on the Edard website and looking, then I wouldn't know where to find it, but they've definitely done a few videos of their injection machinery. So Edard have been fairly open about how they do it.
Airfix have as well. When they were doing their 70-second Spitfire, wasn't it? They were using a UK company for that one, and they were showing that process as well. Apologies.
Yeah.
So, yes. Do I give them a shout out for this?
That sounds like a flowy weekend, doesn't it? Edward open day.
We're having a day out.
Come on, let's do it.
Well, you know what will happen is we'll be expecting to go for somewhere very exotic, and we're going to end up in the Midlands at some factory, aren't we? There's us with our plane tickets and my Hawaiian shirt, and they'll turn around and say, yeah, it's a factory in the Midlands that actually do it. It's like, great.
China, and we go to Dagenham.
But again, it depends on what side of it and what Asterios, I apologise if I've just muted your name, what type of thing he's into in injection moulding. Because we've actually got, I think, about 3 or 4 of our members are in this industry. None of them do this side of it from, plastic like this. They tend to do the bigger stuff. But generally, the from an engineering point of view, depends where you are in the chain. Because obviously the engineers who do the moulds are a little bit more tech savvy, shall we say, about how it with the flows and the various things in there. When it goes to injection molding company, that's what their side of it is to produce your parts nice and cleanly, of how they come out of the mold and everything else like that. And, the various things in there. As I said, got a friend of mine. Oh, well, look, I did get it right. That's amazing. But as I said, I did have a friend of mine. He worked with Advent and baby bottles, and obviously injection molding for that is incredibly, because of obviously the product it is, has to be right. And he spent a lot of time in China quality controlling it all, because obviously
I used to work for an injection molding company. Many years ago. We used to make bottle tops.
There you go. You see?
Did
you read some?
I thought you were going to say you made traffic cones.
But yes, but that's the thing is, as I say, there's all different ways of doing it and stuff. So, but it'd be one of those things to fascinating to see. But I know for a fact, even in one of the, obviously you've probably heard that Tamiya has open houses, but when they do that, they are very, very sheepish on what they do and where you go and what you can see and stuff like that.
Oh, talking of Tamiya.
Yes.
New release.
Ooh.
Is it a 30-second 109?
No.
All right.
I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just saying it's a new release. No, it's actually RC, but it's proper cool. They're doing an RS2000.
Are they? Wow.
Mark II.
Andy had one of them, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A 110, remote thingy one. They do obviously a body in it, because I think obviously they mix and match. But yeah, it got announced. I got an email through, because I thought, oh, something new. And then I was reading it, and it was like, because it did come up. It was one of them bit clickbait, to be honest. It says like Mark II Escort, that'd be like 124 or something like that. But they're doing it in the same livery as what the Italeri ones are.
Oh, right, yeah.
It could be the Rothmans one, I think. That's the main one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a 1/10 sort of remote, so quite cool.
Might be all right. It's a bit different.
Yeah.
Chris Robinson said he owned a Mark II RS2000, so did I.
There you go.
Many moons ago.
You can reminisce about what you sold it for and what they're worth now, pair of you.
Well, I sold it to a friend who wrote it off.
Well, there you go.
And ended up having the engine and gearbox out of it and put it into a Capri.
There you go.
As you do.
My brother had just a normal Mark II, whatever it was, the 1.6, 1.8, and he had only had it a couple of weeks, and he's just started driving and put it on its roof.
Seemed to be the normal thing, wasn't it?
It was. Could they never stay upright, those things?
They get a Mark 1 or Mark 2 Escort and then write it off. Because to be honest, one of my mates did exactly the same. The Mark 1 Escort and spun it and wrote it off. It just dangerous cars. They should be banned.
Yeah, that's it. Cool. Right. Okay. So apart from our very cool mugs for his tools in, we've got Dean. He says, "Hi, boss. I've had a loss of mojo 8 months, but I've decided to make a start over the Telford weekend. I have 2 questions. How can I reactivate the Flory wash that has been sitting for over a year? I can use my Badger stirrer or whatever you recommend. To be honest, the clay just falls out of suspension and sits at the bottom. Your best bet, to be honest, is just to go in there with a soft brush, but make sure it's a clean one. Don't stick a dodgy one in with something else, otherwise you're going to contaminate it. But literally just mix it and just mix it round with a soft brush. Once you've basically got it all going, if it's still not really nice, just tip it into a jug and then mash the hell out of it with like a 1-inch brush. Because all you're just trying to do is just get the clay moving again. Because to be honest with you, that's why in the manufacturing process, it takes a week. Because you need it to break down the clay to get it out into suspension so it sits and works with the other stuff in there. And just to keep mixing and mixing. And that's what I do. It gets stirred 10 times a day for a week to get it all going and everything to wake it all up. So it's a bit like a Fujima. As I say, was it Fujimi? What was it, Fujima? What was the one you used to shake it to wake it? The orange drink. Do you remember it? It used to be the little glass bottle.
The round bottle.
Yeah, that's the one.
Orangina.
Orangina. Was it Orangina? That's it. Shake it to wake it. That's what you have to do. So it's the same thing with the wash. As I say, it just sits there quite happily, literally forever, and you just literally shake it, wake it back up, and it'll go. You won't have a problem with it.
Can you still get Orangina?
I don't know. I haven't seen it for years.
What's the other one? What was too orangey for crows?
God, yeah, it's too orangey for crows, isn't it? Yeah. Oh.
Kiora.
That's it.
Kiora.
Anyway, question 2. I purchased your large sanding pack over a couple of years ago. Which of the new sanders would you recommend I purchase? I don't need any of the skinny packs. Okay, well, again, if you've got them, just stick with what you've got. Because the new ones are just a retake on the old ones, if you like. So, like the dual ones, where it's literally got 2 cores on it, which are the new ones, which are, I've got to find one. Oh, God. These ones. So, literally, it's hard on one side, soft on the other. That's just the soft sponge. And on here, it's the equivalent of the blue, the fine side of the blue. And that's what it is. So you don't really need to. I know I'm not selling myself very well here, but if you've got the sanders, you've got the big pack, you've pretty much got everything in there. The dual ones are obviously just an upgraded form of the old ones, if that makes sense. But we still sell the old ones, because originally I was going to discontinue the entire old ones, but everyone went mad. Everyone was like, you can't get rid of the blue one. That's the best one of it. And it was like, I was just about to discontinue that and the black one and upgrade to the others. But oh no, you lot spoke. Oh, just out of interest, the polishes are back in stock. They did come in on Wednesday.
When's the sheets coming back in stock?
Yeah, all right. Don't go down that route because I might have to. There'll be a limited edition, will they? It's a bit like I did the limited edition for you guys for the buffers, for the big jumbo buffers. And everybody keeps going mad for them saying, I want the jumbo ones, I want the jumbo ones. So I ended up making them current. That's it. Look, I've got them in here too.
Everybody get your sheets out. One sheet.
What a brand new pack. Yes, look. But again, this is one of the stupid things because that, is to say, no one ever buys it for ages, and I've got stocks of them sat there for like a year, and then you mention it, and everybody wants it.
Well, there you go. You see, it's the Flory effect, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Right, Soren, probably.
Sorry.
Oh God, I'm having terrible names today, aren't we? Hello. The question is for Nathan: which of the variant of the Tornadoes was used by the Saudi Arabia during the First Gulf War? Are there any differences between them and the European ones?
It's a Tornado GR1. Or, I don't know if they did them, a GR1A, which is the reconnaissance version. It's the RAF ones.
Yeah.
I was reading before, to deliver them quicker, they took RAF ones off the RAF production and just diverted them to Saudi Arabia. And they're the ones with the cool markings, with like all the three-tone camo markings. So most of the Gulf War decal sheets have one of the Tornado options, but just get an RAF Tornado kit and just change the decals, and you're good. So there might be like teeny differences inside, but not in scale. It's gonna be the same thing.
GR1 and GR4.
GR1, GR4 later on, obviously. GR1A, and they did the ADV, the F3. So if you see it's called Tornado IDS, it's just a GR1. It's the RAF ones there.
So do you reckon this new artillery kit you can backdate it to a 1?
Yeah, probably. I've not seen what the cockpit looks like, but I'm thinking it could easily be done.
You will next week when Phil's got his.
Well, I'd say what I could do the review of it, then we send it to Nathan. I'll send it to Nathan. He can have a peruse over it as well. Get his little minutes all over
Anybody
it.
else want it? Well, we've sent.
Well, no, because when the music stops, I have to buy it.
I'm about to say, who am I billing then?
Gonna say, yeah, I'll send it to Phil. We'll send it up to John. Then it will go up to Andy, and then it can go over to Nate.
Be a very well travelled Tornado.
More miles than the real one.
Yeah, but you could do a GR1. I think it's a very, very early GR4, so yeah. It's just the cockpit that's different, but...
Is it 2 radar screens to 1, did you say, or something? Is it different radar screens?
It's the shape. So the GR1s had like round screens on them, like CRT type ones, and the GR4s had like flat screen LCD panels, and that's the biggest difference. There's a few switches and dials, but...
Are the seats the same?
No, but again, in scale, the seats. I don't know. I'd have to see what they've done with the seats. But you could always get the Aries aftermarket seats and put them in it, because then that would with the canopy down, it'd look like a GR1, wouldn't it?
You can get a thingy though. Can't you get an Aries resin cockpit for a Revel kit?
A Revel one, yeah. I mean, you can get the 32 scale seats.
Yeah, I've got the seats in my Revel one, the Aries ones.
So you could get one of the 32 scale resin seats, put that in, and it's going to be very, very much like a GR1, I reckon.
No, well, obviously, as you the Tornado, I was just thinking for people who's going to buy it but want to backdate it to obviously a Gulf War one or a cam wraparound camo or whatever, because they're just great, the GR4s, aren't they?
Yeah.
A bit, yeah.
A couple of shades of grey.
Bit boring, isn't it?
Bit patchworky towards the end when they put they're a bit like Trigger's broom at the end, weren't they?
I suppose. There's a few with decent half tail art on them, isn't they? But I don't know, if you want a proper early one, don't you, really, if you're going to do one?
But that kit would be a good target for a Saudi one if you wanted to do it in 32.
Interesting.
Indeedy. Right, Rob says, evening gents, can I add my thanks to last week? Really enjoyed watching all the shows. It gave me the chance to do some modelling. I want to build the VF-84 I think it means F4B, from the early 60s for the first group build in 1/32. I can't find the F4B kit in that scale, but Tamiya do the F4C. I'm reading the bump on the C that it was the Air Force version of the B. So could I use the C version? different undercarriage. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if somebody in live chat can quickly check documentation on this, but I'm pretty sure the Navy version's got different lumps, bumps, because obviously it's got the bridle as well. It depends if the kit has got it, because obviously the bit which throws it off the front, it used to have a bridle system on those Phantoms. It doesn't have like the same nose gear that they have on modern ones now with a bar system to yank them off the deck. It has the old-fashioned bridles, and I don't know if the kit will come with it. Yeah, interesting one on that, because the J depends what they did with the wing on it, with the underside of the wing. I never scratch build it, so it could do some changes. You might be able to scratch build it.
I said, are you surprised that nobody's done a B?
Not in that scale, because the B was quite shorty-lived, really. I know, obviously, it was around with the Vietnam War, but as I say, it wasn't in the great scheme of things around that long. Where the J was, obviously, well, we had the J even in the RAF in the 80s. It hung around quite a while, but I'm pretty sure that you'll need the bits that are sort of in the wing roots. All of that, and I don't know if the gear may be different. The Air Force version had a lighter undercarriage, I do believe, than the Navy one. The Navy one's got a beefed up undercarriage for obviously landing on carriers, but don't know.
Yeah, Dirk saying the bulges on the wings for the wheels are different.
Yeah, because obviously it's got the thicker wing, it's got bigger wheels and undercarriage system. So I know the J, that's the easiest way difference between the J version and the Air Force version, because obviously it doesn't have the bulge on the wings. But I don't know about the Bs. If the B, hold on, I've got a B here. Let me look at my B. No, the B doesn't have the bulge on the wings. So the B doesn't have the bulgy wings. But and also the thing is, I'm not sure about the camera thing on the front, on the chin on it as well on the B. Because let me get my B. Where's my other B? I've got two Bs around here somewhere. I'll get this one out of here. In one bit, it'll be amazing.
I'm sure Wikipedia would tell you.
All right, it's okay, everyone.
Hannah, see if anyone does any thought.
So. That's a B, so it doesn't have the bulgy wings, are okay, but it has got lumps and bumps underneath here, and obviously you've got the bridle parts, which it goes up the front. But also, I'm not sure about the thing on the front here, on the chin. I'm not sure how that goes. Engines and the rest of it, I think, is the same. I think you could probably scratch build some of the bits onto it, but I'm just not 100% on some of the minor details with it. You might need to do a little bit of homework on there. Generally, I think it's one of those things. It depends how far you want to get into it. So I'm sure the Navy version and Air Force version, they might have different warning receivers and stuff as well. Not sure how that works. So
the other option, though, is like, what about decals? If nobody does a B, you ain't going to get any decals for one, are you?
I don't know. Never even gone that far with it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, that is a very good point. If no one's done the kit, engine, possibly avionics are different antennas. Yeah, antennas and that you could sort of do yourself, couldn't you, and get away with it. Better rubber dummy. What is that all about? Okay. Yes. So yeah, I think you could probably get away with it as long as no one's looking too close, because the bit for the harnesses, you could easily just cut a hole, make a box system, and then put some hooks into it. So that's literally all the eyes, massive great hooks that are on the fuselage, and then it pulls it off the front. The hook and everything else, I do believe it's exactly the same. There is no difference. So yes, interesting one. But as Matt says, I'd check your decals, because he might have a very good point there. So yes. Okay, Matt says, hi Phil, have you, sorry, you may have covered this previously, but after applying Flory Models pigments, should you do anything to set it in place? And so the model can be handled and the pigments stay in place. Thing is, if you cover in it, they die.
Don't cover them, ever.
Don't cover them.
Because it just ruins them.
Yes. I think as soon as you, especially if you're airbrushing, one, you're going to blow them, you know, that nice dusty effect, you've just blown it airborne, isn't it? So from that point of view, but also I think I would be a bit more concerned about when you're putting it on, it will either darken the the pigment because it's now got slightly wet, and when it dries, it will lock in that colour as well. So you want that. If you're using them from a dust effect, you want to keep them there. And if you're doing them like I showed when I was doing the demos on Sunday, you can mix it if you wanted to with a little bit of PVA glue. If you want to make them a little bit more hard wearing, they won't go anywhere then. They still dry light, okay, but from a point of view of holding in place, it will do the trick. But just, you know, enamels on there, enamel thinners, and then sticking them to it. Once that's dry, that'll hold them in place as well. Handling wise, obviously it's a no-no anyway. You don't really want to be handling your model.
The other good fixer is X28.
Yes.
So there.
Yeah.
Just looking on Hannon's, they've got a set of decals here, bicentennial. It says designed to be used with Tammy's F4B kits. What?
Pass.
They don't do an F4B
Anymore.
Yeah. Did they do one in the past? Has anyone checked?
Has anybody? Yeah, I was going to say somebody checked.
Just out of interest, has anybody actually checked, or was there perhaps a conversion kit for it? Somebody might have done an aftermarket conversion kit to convert the C to a B.
Good on.
Scale Mates is a place to look, isn't it?
Because to be honest, there was a conversion kit. It was very expensive to make the J into an RAF one, but it had an entire new bottom wing in resin. It was huge and it was very, very expensive. I can't remember the company who made it now, but there was a company who actually made so it had the intakes and everything. Literally, it was like the bottom half completely. So it's got the bumps. The wing tops were roughly the same, but it was a conversion for the J into being that, and it was horrendously expensive.
Right, something like Verlinden would have done back in the 90s.
Somebody does do mil-spec do decals for VF84 in 32nd.
So they obviously are around.
For the F4B.
Just the kit then.
It's saying in this book the differences are avionics, the wheel well, the pressure, different pressure tyres.
Yeah.
Slightly different engines as well. I don't know if there's an external difference. B and the C. But if you're not a complete, so I'm doing 32, it's quite a big thing. Because then it depends how fussy you are, rivety wise.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and that is the thing, isn't it? Like we were saying, it is that if you're going to go and rivet count it completely, then yes, you're going to see all the problems. If you're not that worried about it and you just want a nice B, then you'll be absolutely fine, isn't it? Okay, Neil says, evening lads, Phil, my dark dirt has done this. Any ideas? I use the same brush all the time. Cheers. Do you? Okay, yeah, I'm not going to call you a liar, clearly, but it looks like it's contaminated. So something's got in there. So, you know, when we say about using the wrong thinner for your paint and it goes gritty, that's what that's done. It's done exactly the same thing. So what happens is, obviously, it's distilled water that the wash is in. Okay, so, and literally it's just got the clay, it's got the pigment in there, then it's got a couple of natural degreasers, which basically break the surface tension and help it flow and all the rest of it. And it stops things growing in it over time. But the thing is, because they are just all pure, if anything goes into it, it can make it gritty. As we call it, is that. There is ways around this. If you get a dollop of washing up liquid, so what you want to do, shake the hell out of the bottle, chuck it into a jug, a big jug, okay, and then literally give it, not like tons of, but like 3 or 4 drops of washing up liquid, okay, and then mash the crap out of it again. Just mix it with a clean brush, okay, and you will hope that the washing up liquid, because it's a little bit stronger than obviously the stuff that's in it, will overpower it, and it will then just make it flow again, and you should be okay with it. But that's a classic example of, you know, when if you'd made paint and that had done, you would have known you'd put the wrong thinners with your paint. It's the same type of thing that's happened in there. So it just goes a little bit gritty. So it's either, one, it's not been mixed enough, or it's literally just gone a little bit, starting to separate. So what happens is, if you introduce anything, and even if it's on a dry brush, like if I was to put enamels in there, for instance, it will clump, because what happens is that the pigment and the clay will clump onto the particles, and it gets gritty, as we call it, which is, to be honest, that is almost textbook of contamination. But you can get around it. Washing up liquid, mash the hell out of it, give it a good old whiz round and a stir up, and it should come back to life. Because obviously, like, washing up liquid's a lot stronger than what I put in it, so it will overpower it, and you'll be good to go.
It's all looks like it's got enamel thinners in it or something, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's always been the slight, to be honest, I've had people not complain, but have this problem and said, oh, it's not me. But I've done it in testing. So what I'll do is you just take a drop of it and put it into a clear beaker. I'll use a brush that I've used for something else. So it might have had lacquer thinners on it. Enamel thinners is what does it the most. And then literally, it's a dry brush. You think it's nice and clean. You put it in and it does that, because obviously the natural degreaser that's in there technically cleans the brush, and it takes it into the water, and then over the space of a few days all the particles cling onto it, and it just basically comes out of suspension. That's what it's doing. So if the easiest way to describe it is, if you'd had a acrylic paint, and you put something in that it doesn't like and it gets gritty or gums up or something else like that, it goes literally just like that. That's how you can see it in your little container. So it's doing exactly the same type of thing. Also, that can happen as well, you get people and they add what they think is like, a little bit of acrylic paint, it won't hurt, does that to it as well. I don't think you have, because it looks like it's too clear all around it. So I think it's just clumping into it. But again, I've had people add their own various things. They've added their own pigments into it to make it thicker and various things. It's quite a sensitive product. It doesn't like to be played with too much. It's fine to be mixed with itself, because it is itself. It's all the same. But if you mix literally like my pigments in with that, it's a different pigment, and it won't like it, and it goes gritty and lumpy. But anyway, tip it out, get a brush, give it a couple of dollops of washing up liquid, just 3 or 4 drops, it won't take tons of it, and just mash it up. It'll foam up, because the bubbles will make it, your washing up liquid will make it foam up. Let them just sit at the top, and then wait a couple of minutes, okay, and then tip it out from underneath so the bubbles don't go in. But again, wash out the bottle completely, wash it up with washing up liquid, clean it all out, rinse it out thoroughly, and then try it, and you should be fine. You'd be good to go. Okay, Keith says, I received my auction win, the Saladin armoured vehicle, and realised it's ideal for the 1960s group build. The tyres are rubber or a similar material, but they are yellow. What?
Yeah,
I think they're like a vinyl.
Dragon vinyl stuff.
Oh, right.
There's a name for it they use, isn't there, Andy? And I can't think what it is. Yeah.
Right.
With tracks as well. They've done it with tracks.
Oh, right, okay.
Is it something like DCS or something? I can't think what it is. I haven't got nothing here either. But anyway, yeah, you can just paint them. It's just like a soft plastic rather than, like these are like rubber.
Yes.
Like a tyre. Well, they're not. They're like a soft plastic. So you can. The real thing is for over painting and stuff. They're fine. A lot of people, to be honest, with them wheels, just changing for resin ones.
Oh, right. He says, nice thing is there's no seam line. There's 3 options. Prime with Vallejo primer and has a rubber type property. Again, I think you're missing the beat there with polyurethane being rubbery. Then either XF or LP rubber paint over the primer. Just use XF rubber black, use LP rubber black, hoping that the lacquer solvents don't attack the rubber. Mind you, if we're saying they're more like plastic, it'd be absolutely fine anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they call it DS plastic.
That's it, DS plastic. It's plastic, it's not rubber.
Yeah, it just paints like normal plastic, doesn't it?
Just soft paint. Yeah, like you wouldn't. Yeah.
To be honest with you, I've painted normal rubber tyres just with acrylic paints and never had a problem with them. Because sometimes I've had them and they've had that sort of whitey tinge to them where the rubber's old and horrible. I just spray them and I've never known them to peel or flake. It's only if you're like moving them and, actually putting weight on them that's moving. And obviously they're going to crack. But they won't if they just stood there. You should be absolutely fine. So I really won't worry about it. I think you're overthinking that.
I think the at least like the new rubber tyres are not like the old ones that used to crack over time.
They used to melt, wasn't it, back in the day? Used to get the really old ones. You'd have them on your surface, and it's almost gone weight on wheels effect, where they would physically melt and dissolve. They're horrible things. You used to get like a brown tar off of them.
Tamiya long range Desert Group Chevy, and that they just literally split. The tires just split.
Yeah.
So
again, I think that's sometimes where a lot of people, especially if you're coming back to the hobby, know the horror stories of old rubber tires, but modern ones don't do that. And it's a bit like rubber tracks and stuff. You can glue them together now, where the old ones used to have to melt together and stuff. So,
yeah. What are you looking for? Sorry, what's he looking for?
He's going through the questions before me, clearly. Most unusual for me, my Easy 8 first armor build never got completed. Is that unusual for you? Anyway, Tamiya has swapped the good Azuka original with her own kit. Seamline City, too many wheels to clean. There's a trick for that. If you buy one of our drills, right, you could just put it onto it and then just that's it. But it looks nice with the benefit of no tracks wheels to clean. It's not being funny. You've always got that thing, isn't it? Like I'm doing this at the moment, and it's like a million parts for stuff you're never going to see again. You're into that thing, and it's done now, and we can move on with all the nice stuff. But it's part of it, and like Matt said, well, at least you ain't got any seam lines to worry about. And it's true, because with armour you don't. So, like I always say, one area, a lot of people say about aircraft and armour, with aircraft it's all seam lines and polishing up and making it look nice. With armour, it's seam lines on wheels. That's all you got to worry about. You just whip around them and do it. To be honest, I think that's easier. Because if they got bits out of them and chunks out of them, that's just what they're like in real life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you need one of those carving bits. My drill's on charge. I've had to charge it today. But we're okay now.
Well, best bit is, like you've just said, make a little thing, put your wheel in that, and then just get some sanding stick.
That's it. You just literally, I would just literally just go like that, put it on, and then just go. That's it.
Exactly.
Job's done, isn't it? It's really straightforward and easy. Or if you wanted to give chunks out of them, if you got, like I've got all these carving bits I use, wood carving bits, they're great. You just get a big one and just whip round it and just take chunks out of it and all the rest of it and give it that sort of natural look. So
anyway, just a thing, by the way, these things will be back in stock next week.
Oh good, because I've done the review. So when my boss tells me, I'll put the review up.
Yeah, they should be back in on Monday actually, because I've just had the tracking from where they're coming from. So all being well. Good. Yeah.
Say, as soon as you do, I'll put the review up. I've done it. I've completed it. I edited it today, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Phil and team, enjoying the Telford shows, especially the tutorials. Every show reveals something new or different. That was the plan. It was trying to do a little bit of something with every show. Okay. When I spray Vallejo through my airbrush to prevent tip dry, would you recommend Tamiya paint retarder or to use Vallejo's own brand? Q Andy, is that what he's just got out? His flow improver.
Well, you can use either of them, to be honest with you, but I prefer to use that one, Winsor & Newton flow improver. It's probably cheaper for the size of it as well than the other two. But as long as it's an acrylic flow improver, you're fine. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, if you get that and that, perfect mix they are. Yeah.
But you can use the Tamiya one. But literally, that's the Tamiya one. But literally, all I do is dip the blunt end of a brush in it, and just like literally 2 drops of flow improver into my colour cup. That's it. You don't need a lot at all. Literally, just a couple of drops. If you put too much in, it'll never dry.
Right. Hey, just while I run about Vallejo and stuff, I've got to say this. They put a video up. Vallejo did the other day on how to use this on aircraft.
Right.
So I thought, oh right, okay. So they're going to tell us how to, sand it down, and when you've done it. Do you know what? It was literally 20 minutes of a bloke airbrushing it on.
And that was it.
And that was the video. And I'm like, well, great. That's told us absolutely nothing about how to use it. You've just told us how to spray it on.
Then how do you sand it and?
Yeah, exactly. Because it was like I thought that's what the video was going to be about, to be honest. So whether there's going to be another part to it, and that was part 1, I don't know. But it just, yeah, I thought it was a bit sort of half a job, if I'm honest. Because everybody's problem is, if they've listened to people, is when I come to sand it down, it peels off.
Yes.
Yeah, you can brush apply. Mine's settled into like.
Oh, that one did. I've just shook it, but yeah, I got like that much of it.
It does.
It's a shame because actually, I don't mind it. It's not a bad primer, but as long as you don't use it on aircraft.
Yeah. Just to answer the question, because again, it's one of those things. I don't know what the RPM is. It's slow, which is quite slow, till very fast. But I don't know what it is because it doesn't say. Because to be honest, it's all in bloody Chinese.
Yeah,
and for some reason, it's got some of it is just literally, I can somewhat work it out because it's saying 3.7 volt, 700 milliamp LiPo battery in it. And it says here from a 0.1 mil to a 3.5 millimeter chuck on it, which is wrong because it's actually 4 mil. But yeah, the rest of it isn't very easy to read. So it doesn't actually say, from what I can work out, what the RPM speed is. I would say it's perfect for modeling. Obviously, if you're cutting something and doing lots of cutting, you know, perhaps metal and stuff like that, you probably just want to use something with a bit faster on it. But for plastic, it's perfect.
I'll tell you what, you could get it down to as slow as my Procon on number 1.
Yeah. But I just don't know what it actually is. What is in speed?
So to say, not Procon, it's a Procon.
Yeah.
Procon.
It's a Procon boy.
No, it's not.
Right, so we all we've sorted that then, are we? We're just going to say we're going to go with
what?
Airbrush cleaner for the best thinner, or retarders. Because the jury's really out. Because retarder's retarder at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who's you use, does it?
You can get it at the art shop, can't you? They're all the same acrylic retarders.
Acrylic retarders and acrylic retarder, yeah.
Like I said, the airbrush cleaner rather than the airbrush thinner works really well with it, doesn't it?
Aye, but you have to be a little bit careful. I got caught out with that because it takes ages to dry.
Yeah. Because of the retarder in it.
Because of the retarder in it.
It does. Graham says, I was thinking of doing a Sherman 5 for the Anzac SIG, but don't know who makes one. Do you guys know? From what I can make out, it would be an M4A4 version. Thanks for the help.
An M4A4, Sukadu M4A4. I don't know if Dragon did one, to be honest. Dragon did a Sherman.
Didn't they use ours?
Oh, God, yeah, they did.
It's an M4A4 with a 75mm M3L40 gun.
You definitely know Sukadu one. Tamiya do an M4. There's a lot of variables to a Sherman.
There is. It's one of those things. You get 10 Shermans in a line. They're all slightly different. Various things. They've got different tracks on. They've got different configurations. They're everywhere.
I was say it depends who used them and when they used them and where and
what week.
Yeah, it is. Loads of variants.
Is it morning or afternoon?
Which factory they were built in as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From what I can figure it, the main difference with it was the engine.
Yeah.
The US rejected the Chrysler multi-bank engine it had in it.
In favour of?
They had the radial engine in it, didn't they?
Oh, the radial, that was it, yeah.
Yeah, it just looks like all the websites are saying it's an M4A4. Sherman 5 is just what we called it, just to confuse people.
So there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. No one's none the wiser. What we're basically saying is build what you like, because we wouldn't know either. Okay, Dean says, hi boss and the team. First off, many thanks for the Telford weekend. That's it, no problem at all. And my liver is just recovering. Help, please, sir. I have the same airbrush as you and the team, the Procon .2. I purchased it about 8 months ago, and the problem is that I went to use it for the second time tonight and found very little paint or thinners coming out. I turned up the pressure and still the same. I stripped it down, did a deep clean, and now is in fluids for what is coming out and all the rest of it. Okay, it sounds like to me, if I'm honest with you, you've bunged up the little tiny gap on the nozzle. So what can happen is, mine is a prime example of what not to do because it's absolutely covered in crap. I'm going to tidy it. Down in here, don't forget, the bit where the nozzle comes out, you also need a small gap. Sorry, wrong one. There we go. You need a small gap. So that black you can see right in the middle, because the needle is at the moment right the way forward. When you pull it back, you need a hole for the paint to come out, but also you need air around the outside. Okay, so mine, as you can see, is all dirty. It all needs cleaning up. I haven't cleaned it up from the weekend, to be honest. That's why it's clean in here, but not the front. But sometimes what can happen is that even though you strip it down, if you don't actually clean off the front bit here, so you come along and you do all your bit, you need to, important to clean this bit on the front. So you've actually got, I'll never get that apart in here, is the area in there is just as important as anywhere else in your airbrush. So it sounds like you've either got a little bit of dry paint in there, so it's not allowing the air to come through, and in that case it won't allow the paint to come through because there's no vacuum for it to pull through. Okay, the other thing of course it is, if you tried it without putting the colour cup on, I know it's the oldest trick in the book, but if that hole gets bunged up, you put your cup on the top, you're causing a vacuum in here, or mine would, but I've bent mine and my lid no longer fit. But what happens is literally it causes a vacuum, so the paint can't flow down. So that's the one where you normally get air, but nothing else. Okay, so you want to make sure that that hole is open and clean down in there. And that can just be a case of literally doing this. I'll do it with you here right now. I'll literally just grab some lacquer thinners, cotton bud. Okay, just shove it here and twist away. Twist away. Ding, ding, ding. Just go like that. Okay, and you can see the junk and all the nasties coming off the end of this. Okay, and it's quite important because sometimes this one doesn't really do it, but it can happen. But you see how now it's all metally and shiny in there? But you can see all the paint and junk and everything where I've had spillages and various things come down the front end here. And it can cause, just that little tiny hole not being open, can cause you paint flow problems. And to be honest, it's usually the one. It's the one where everyone says, I've done everything. I've stripped it and I've stripped it and I've done it. And what you've done is you've cleaned out the nozzle and all the rest of it, but not the airflow that comes around the outside. And no air, no paint. But also you get no air. So when you squeeze the trigger, and sometimes it may be like you were saying, you're just getting a tiny little bit of air, but not a lot. And that can be it as well. It can just be, you know, a little bit of a, instead of it blowing right the way through.
Nice mug.
Oh, look. Don't mention mugs. I get an email every 20 minutes at the moment. I must know. I'll tell you what, I'll do that now, since we're talking about it.
Someone's asking chat about it.
Oh, well, there you go. Jeez. Right. As I said, once I get all the stuff out of the way this week, I will do the mugs next week. What will happen is there'll be a section in the forum that will run for a couple of weeks, and I'll tell you about it all the time. Okay. And that way you can technically buy your mug there and then. So what happened is it's going to be like a pre-order system, but you might as well pay up front. It saves trying to bill everybody afterwards. So there'll be a button, and literally it'll be a buy it now button. It'll be linked to the site and all the rest of it. And then what you can do is you can actually physically buy the item in the forum, okay, instead of having to go off to the site and all the rest of it, and you can get your mug just like that. And again, it's going to be a maximum of 2 per person. Okay, and it's not 2 per order, but it'll be 2 per person, so that way everyone gets a chance to get one. And obviously you'll get the card set with it and the lumpy sticker thing, one of those badge things here, the thick ones as well. For the first sort of, I don't know, 250, something like that, who order, we do those. But again, it's one of those things. They are coming. It's just that obviously, as Matt will testify at the moment, this week's been a little bit busy. So yes, we don't need any more, thank you.
So what you're saying is they're not ready yet?
I haven't ordered them yet until we get the orders in. Then once I've got the order in, I'll place the order. But they're all ready to go. I've signed off on it. It was just they're waiting on the order, but I didn't want to do it yet until we've got Telford out of the way and all of that stuff.
So you're You happy you're going to order enough?
Well, this is it. When everyone's pre-ordered, I will put the order in. It'll be fine. Like last time when everyone was like, oh yeah, and then everyone was ordering 3, 4, 6. It was like that screwed my idea when everyone put their name down for one. I thought everyone wanted one. So, what's the post of the mugs to the US? Loads. To be honest, minimum. If you might remember, I sent Chris's. I don't know if he's had his yet. Chris, have you got your? I can see you in chat. Have you had your mug through yet? But I sent Chris's out last week after the auction with that one, and his one cost basically 16 quid in postage. So,
hey, just to let you know, postage to the US for a small box has gone up 3 quid between last week and this week.
I know we were talking about it, the postage had gone up since the beginning of the year. I think we were posting stuff out at the beginning of the year. It was about £35 for a standard kit. Now it's gone to about 56 quid a couple of weeks ago. I was looking on some of the invoices that we've got from people who have had stuff from a year or two ago, and about 18 months ago it was about 20 quid to post a kit to America, standard size kit.
About 25 quid, I think, if I remember. 25, 26 quid, and then minimum has gone up to about 36. This is with FedEx, who seems to be the cheapest when we do the search, and now they've gone up to nearly 40 quid in the past week, literally.
So did you have a problem with your mug last year? Did you have a mug last year? Because he was saying it comes with a tube of super glue to put the bits together. Because as far as I know, we only had 2 break. 350, I think, mugs we did last year. We had 2 break. That was it. Which I thought was amazing, because I thought it would be a lot more than that. But actually, we only had 2 broken ones. We had one with a chip and one lost its handle.
Well, fingers crossed by next year, the prices of air freight will start to come back down again.
I've got an honest feeling that it's the American side that's put their prices up that's caused the problems, because obviously Royal Mail have to then charge for the cost in America, don't they?
Yeah, but there's no passenger.
Oh yeah, that as well. That's not helping, is it, at all?
Lost all that cargo space underneath the people plates, haven't they?
John's fault.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, it's my fault.
Absolutely. As the official spokesman for Royal Mail and international postage. Right, so anyway, going back, Dean, hopefully have a look at that on your airbrush. The thing is, if you're saying you're getting no bubbles, normally bubbles is it backfiring. If it's not doing anything, it means it's not getting air out of it. So check that around the actual nozzle. Okay, so you've got your end cap goes over the nozzle. Make sure that that's clean in there and there's nothing else of it. What you can do is take the nozzle off and just put a wooden cocktail stick into it as well. So let me just show you that one. So literally just pop the end off. And it's a little trick. If you take a sharp cocktail stick, because it's wood, it won't bend the outside. And then what you can do is cameras. Oh god, I'm about 10.
I think he said somewhere in chat he's getting lots of air coming out.
Well, then that way it must be just paint coming through to the nozzle. Then, if he's getting air but no paint, then clearly it's your nozzle has got bunged up. So if he's getting air, don't worry about that. So, because obviously if you're pulling your needle back and you've got air coming out that end, it causes a vacuum which pulls it along the needle, which then atomizes it and throws it off. So it literally must mean a dirty nozzle. So very carefully, I would just put loads of lacquer thinners through it and just try and take it out. Or if not, take the nozzle off and then put a very soft brush into the nozzle and break it up in there and see if it'll come off and do it that way.
It'd probably be helpful to know what he's actually putting through it as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Whether it's like acrylic or lacquer.
Yes.
Could you not just soak the nozzle and the tip in a small bit of thinners for 10 minutes and then come at it with a soft brush to clean it fully?
Yes.
I've done that. I've had a few problems. I just tend to soak my nozzles in a bit of thinners, just get a small bottle top, fill a bit of thinners in, and just give them a soak for 10 minutes, and then attack it with like cocktail sticks and stuff. I reckon it's just a mucky nozzle. It's got to be.
Okay, David says, greetings from a grey and overcast Western Oregon, USA. What is the best way of removing these big chunks of resin from these figures from the Black Hawk Down action movie group build? 1, what tool should I use? Micro saw maybe. Because you're in 135, these aren't big and chunky. Trust me, I've seen resin blocks like your fist trying to hack through to get them off. That's when you just use a belt sander. But yeah, I just would use a saw. Just a little razor saw, little tiny one, and just whip through it like that. I've got this one, which is one of these ones with Tamiya blades into it. So it's just got the little curve onto it. Just and go through them like that. Will the floor sanders work on resin parts? Absolutely, no problem at all. Any other hints, tips will work in? Obviously, just the dust. Don't lick your fingers. Yeah, wet the bottom, but obviously literally go through, but sand up and all the rest of it. Whose figures are they? They look like a knockoff.
Oh, that's not good.
I only say that because the casting's really rough, but the numbering on the casting plate and the figures don't look too bad. It's just it looks like they're a knockoff.
Hey, I thought you said they were a black dog, weren't they? Or
are they? No, just
from
from Black Hawk Down. But the figures look like they're knockoff figures just because they look really the casting blocks look like they're authentic, but it's just the swath. But if you look at the seams on them and the just bits and pieces on it, they just look rough.
It says it's Kitty Hawk. See, I even when I'm using a saw on resin, I use water just to sort of wet saw it. Obviously, dry it off properly afterwards to stop it rusting. Use as much water as I can to stop the dust flying everywhere.
It's fair for where they are and what you're going to see of it. You could just use a pair of wire cutters and just
hack it off. Yeah, he's going to be sitting on his bum, his feet. Mind you might see his feet through the windows on the front.
Yeah, you can cut them off a bit and then sand them, can't you?
But that's what I was saying about are they knockoff? Because if you look at them, just the bits in here, like the soles haven't cast properly, they look like a reject off of them. Because I am aware of the company who makes these, and these ones just look like a knockoff version of it. Because I've had the originals.
Sounds like Kitty Hawk have just got slightly duff.
Yeah, don't know. Perhaps they're seconds or something.
I don't know. The casting of the main figures looks alright.
Okay, Pramjit. Look, we were talking about him earlier. Now we're in trouble. Stand by your beds, everyone. Airfix is in the house. Hi, team. Hope you're all well. Thanks for the Telford weekend. Really enjoyed them. My favourite part was the quiz. Look, he got 33 out of 30. That's brilliant. Wasn't there 35 questions? How does that even work?
Just on about quizzes, are we doing another one for... well, not us. Is Nathan going to do another one for the turkey shoot weekend?
I think so. He doesn't know till now, but yes.
Okay, dokie. The history of the United States quiz, then.
Oh, God. Right. Okay.
Oh, God. Right. We're going to ask you now.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll do something.
Yeah, 20 presidents of the USA.
Woodrow Wilson.
The lifetimes of Woodrow Wilson. Yes,
that's our revision for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's it. Quick, better start swatting up on YouTube. There.
I can tell you something. He was the first American president to travel from the US to Europe, and I know that because I watched a program last night and they were on it about the World War I apocalypse.
I think the picture quiz worked better because I think I might do picture-based quiz because that stops the Googling, doesn't it?
Can we do it like catchphrase?
What, say what you see?
Well, yeah, just like
little bits of pictures pop up.
Bits of pictures.
Cover that, and we could have like that one with Mr. Chips. Like
what, the old-fashioned original Mr. Chips or the new digital one?
No, the proper one with Roy Walker, proper catchphrase, not the new rubbish.
Lynn's asking when it is. Is it Thanksgiving weekend we're doing it?
Yes. Mind you, there's one tomorrow if you want me and Matt on tomorrow afternoon. Right, hold on. Let me get back to Pramjit. Important. Received my order of washers and sanders yesterday. Thank you. I must apologise because I've had so many. I haven't sort of done the normal sort of personal sort of bits and pieces I tend to do with them for you guys. I see like the names I know, and I usually write something or scribble something, some abuse or usual stuff. And but obviously I haven't got a clue because a couple of people have said to me, "Oh, I put an order through," and I'm thinking, "Did you?" And I've gone back and checked, and yeah, you did. But as I say, when you're doing loads of them, you don't really see it. Could you do a small test for me? Could you roll up some white tack, Andy? Quick, roll up white tack. I've been told to roll up white tack. and then fill it with clever putty, like the image below.
Fill it with what?
Clever putty is. What?
All right, I'll do it. I've got it. Hold on, I got it. On what? Hold on, let me grab a plane. Buster Junior can come out.
I can see what he's getting at.
Yeah, he wants to use it as a filler, isn't it? Right, okay.
Yeah, but why not just use some masking tape?
Well, shush, don't argue with him. He's Airfix. What do we know?
When's your tiger tank out? That's
Yeah,
what we want.
Cranjit, when's your tiger tank coming out? More to the point.
Send some emails. I want to build the Spitfire.
I want to build the tiger tank.
What are we putting in the middle?
Clever putty. I have a feeling the clever putty will just stick to itself.
Is that the science putty stuff? That?
God,
Yeah.
rock hard and cold.
I don't know where mine is.
Thing is, it'll be a longish test, won't it? Because that takes quite a while to.
So I'll do it down here. It'll be easier.
I've no idea when the clever.
I've just got a feeling the clever putty, because it sticks like literally shit to a blanket.
I think it's going to react with the blue tack.
I think it will. To be honest, I don't like using this stuff anyway, so it don't matter if it wrecks it.
Put your overhead camera on then.
Sorry. Hold on.
I haven't got Scooby-Doo, Emma.
He's obviously thinking of buying some science putty, but he wants to.
Yeah.
He wants to test it first.
Yeah, he wants you to wreck your white tack first before he does it. Ah. Top lad.
Do you know what? I bought that science putty stuff and put it away somewhere, and I've not seen it.
The trouble with science putty is, by its nature, it is so sticky it sticks to itself. So when you have it like this, okay, and you accidentally touch it, it's impossible now to get it apart once it goes in. So if you make sausages with it and they touch, within seconds it doesn't come apart because then it just stretches and makes the right mess.
Well, Phil's getting in a mess. Matt, we've had a couple of questions about the drills. Any chance of a pre-order on it, and when are they back on the site?
Well, they'll be back up. Fingers crossed, Monday they'll be on. So I said the delivery's been dispatched today and should be here. Usually it'll be here for Monday, so they'll be back in stock then. It's going to be a stock item.
Also,
So
don't forget, guys, you can put your name down on the site.
Oh, for the email notification, yeah.
Keith, it's in tools, and it's the first item in tools before all the Flory Sanders.
This is looking a bit messy, isn't it, Phil?
It's not working.
Oh, that's going old.
That's not working.
That's going south quick, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an epic fail.
So,
That's
That's an epic fail.
with your white tack, you can just roll it up and you reuse it again, and your science putty you can roll it up and reuse again. But once you mix them together,
You can't.
with that.
Yeah, look, you can't get it apart.
No.
That's a dog's dinner, that, isn't it?
Why don't you just fill it? I was going to say fill it with a mascot, but you get that same problem. You're not going to get that off, are you? You're not going to get that.
like Rob Edwards says, why not use more white tack?
I just use either more white tack or little offcuts of. Do you know when you've got little bits of masking tape floating around? That's gone completely messy, hasn't it?
I was to say I just use masking tape.
Oh my god.
I'm just wondering what happens if you roll it in. Could you mix the two? Have best of both worlds then.
I don't know, you end up with Play-Doh.
Yeah, I was going to say, will it mix? It actually is. It's mixing, look.
Does that suggest it's kind of virtually the same stalk?
I don't know. It's definitely mixing. It's going grey now. We're not just having white streaks in this. It is going grey.
So you're saying now science putty's blue tack? White tack.
No, it's definitely different, but it's similar. Look, this is just going to light grey.
Oh.
So, yeah, but there you go. Is that stiffened it up a bit? Because the problem when you use a science putty, it just sort of spreads, doesn't it? When you put it on.
That's a good point. So it's probably not far off a 50-50 mix here. We'll try it.
So
Wes thinks we've got a new product here called Flory Putty, so you best be quick or AK Interactive will beat you to it.
Actually, that's a good point. Keith says signed up for email notification on the drills. If anybody is after one, if you sign up for the email notification, as soon as it comes in, Matt will try and remember to...
What? Press it where it says send email.
Yeah.
Right, so the big test is, does it bounce? Yes, it does.
Ooh.
Oh, fancy ball.
So
It's
hold on, look,
really
this is we could do a side-by-side test.
Bounce test.
Yeah, it's definitely more bouncy. See, this one doesn't bounce. So we've just invented a brand new product. I renamed this White Clever Putty. Well, actually, it's more like light grey, but it feels different as well now. It feels like a heavy-duty Clever Putty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little tower of it during the show, and we'll see what happens.
I was about to say, Phil, why don't you just put it on somewhere and then see if it just...
Well, we just want to know if it holds its shape. If it's gone, you'll know by, half hour if it's going to collapse and go. We'll have a control next to it.
So if it works, you'll have to buy white tack and science putty in bulk and mix them together.
Be using the other half's kitchen mixer for it. Flory flubber. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll try that. Anyway, part 2 of the question. I've also got the AKRC 043 Desert Pink, British Desert Pink. On the spoon at the left was grey primer, and the one on the right was white primer. The white primer looks more accurate in the colour than on the jar. I'm not sure how accurate it was with the real aircraft, but at first glance, it looks good to me. I know you get asked which Desert Pink is the best, but I thought I'd show you results.
The one on the right, where the mouse pointer is, looks really pretty damn close to me. It's got that nice pinkiness.
The only thing is also, is that possibly because the spoon is quite translucent anyway?
No, I mean, I like the one on the right with the, and I think with the dark dirt wash over the top. I think you're going to be pretty much.
To me, that doesn't look.
It's not got the pinkiness.
No, that looks more like that to me.
The other one looks a bit hempy colour, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is very hempy. Yeah.
It is one of those colours, though, that's a little bit of a... You ask 10 people, you'll get 10 different opinions, won't you? But I like the pinkiness. It needs that slight pinky.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd be tempted, to have... If you're going to get a weathered effect, it would have both of those colours on it.
Yeah.
It did weather really heavily. I mean, I always find it once you put the dark dirt wash over the top, it kind of just gives it that final correct colour. But I mean,
from that, obviously, I'm not a fan of spraying on spoons because I'm sure they're like a false economy. You get people like they do chrome work and they go, "Oh, look on this spoon." It's like, now do it on a model and see if it looks the same, because obviously on spoons they're quite thin plastic. And it can let the light through, even though they're face down on there. So it'd be interesting to see, you got your hand behind it, exactly what colour you've actually got in there, as if it would be thick plastic, because those spoons like they're white plastic. So obviously they'll let the light go through them as well. And because you've got white with the light, it's not so much. It'd be interesting to see, as I say, get your hand behind it in. But just from that point of view, the white seems to give it a nicer colour, certainly, because that other colour doesn't look anything like it to me, full stop.
It looks really...
it's more hempy, that other one on the left. The one on the right looks good for me for like desert sand, that type of colour.
Yeah. I think the one on the right, because that looks closer to what's in the pot as well in liquid.
Yeah.
It's obviously quite a translucent paint then, isn't it? It's picking up the... So,
Interesting. Dave says, "Good morning, Phil. I'll be starting on my Ryfield MRAP soon, but not sure what colour to use for the body, as only states mid colours. I generally use Mr. Hobby, Aquatis and Tamiya paints. Could you point me in the right direction?" Yes, I can. What colour is it, Mac? Because I need it soon. Like, now.
US desert, something in it.
Yeah, unless you're doing the Polish one, and then it's green. They are literally, when I've been doing my little bit of research onto this one, because originally I was going to do the chassis black, because I thought they were, but they're not. They're actually, everything is sand apart from the engine.
Actually, the colour's turned up.
Does it? Oh, can I have it sent down then, please?
Yes.
With me Land Rover?
Yes.
So I can stoke the box.
And the Tornado.
Oh, right. Crikey, that's going to be a big box. Is it going to come on a pallet?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you'll get it for next week.
Oh, cool. Very good. Yes, but it's basically desert sand right the way through the lot. So I don't know US desert sand.
Desert sand, Attacker do one. I don't know about MRP and all the others, but I know AK do one in the sets for the US modern colours. But is it is it flattened?
Yeah, it's going.
Is it going to be the same colour as the Humvee that Tamiya did?
Yeah.
Isn't it like a desert Humvee?
I'm trying to think what attacker number it is. It's something like 68, I think.
Well, that's what I'm doing for mine. I'm doing mine Attacker. To be honest, like now I'm just about to start on the cab area and all the rest of it. So this will get a full coat of sand absolutely everywhere. Then I'm going to hand paint, obviously, things like the springs, shocky bits and stuff. And obviously the engine we have, thanks to Andy, who's probably watching, Cat Yellow. So I've got my Caterpillar Yellow. Got a whole jar of it. And so we got that as well to do the actual engine block and the other bits and pieces. And we're going to hand paint all the details by hand because literally, from what I can tell, everything is just done in desert sand.
It looks like Tamiya in their old Humvee kit are asking for TS46.
Oh, God.
Oh, right, okay. So that means they don't do the colour either when they get to that point.
Not Tamiya ranged, is it?
No.
So what else does he use? MLP, Tamiya and what? Guns?
Aqueous, guns.
Yeah, Aqueous and Tamiya.
They don't do a colour either, I don't think.
I think Vallejo, if you're into the acrylics purely, Vallejo do a desert, US desert as well.
Yes, they do.
I can't remember what it was, but I know they do one.
They do it in primer.
Yeah, they do actually, yeah.
So...
See, that'd be another good one for doing it in polyurethanes, because it doesn't matter, just over the top.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
It would be interesting, that one.
Yeah.
It says here. Oh, God.
Green saying he did his Land Rover in a 3-inch brush. I did mine with a paint roller. Came out really nice. It was... How about Tamiya XF59 Desert Yellow? No, it's not the right shade.
It's
more browny than.
I was going to say it's a browny colour than a sandy colour, isn't it?
The light colour do it. It's FS 33531. Guns is Sangyo 313. Don't know what that looks like. Guns 313, but this is again. I couldn't say it's accurate at all. 313 is the right FS number, but if that's the right colour, I wouldn't be sure. Might be time to try and Attacker paint. Is it not in the AK Real colour range? Because they spray almost the same as Tamiya.
Yeah, they do it.
AK do a modern US paint.
Yeah.
I'd be tempted to try Real colour. AKRC032, thanks, Graham.
There you go.
Because I find they spray almost the same as Tamiya, don't they?
Very similar.
Yeah, RC32 is, Graham says, for AK. Quick one there for Will, who does 72nd 48th Dragon, Hasegawa. Got one there, I'm looking at it.
I think Revell have reboxed the Hasegawa Dragon as well, haven't they?
Hey, Hella do one if you want a classic.
Jesus, yeah.
Don't be like that.
Yeah, it's a bit flashy.
Yeah.
Okay, Andrew says, question for John. John, what is the best 1/32 scale Stuka? If possible, show me your model close up.
We've had a little discussion on this. And you've got two choices, Hasegawa or Trumpeter. Hasegawa, if you can get it, will be expensive. The Trumpeter one's cheaper, but there are apparently accuracy issues with it.
The wings go like that instead of like that.
I mean, what I would suggest, hang on, let me go switch to my overhead a minute.
Oh, no, I'll put him on full screen.
Hold on, just if you can get it, Revell reboxed it as well. The Hasegawa kit in 32nd.
Yeah.
So you might be able to get that on the second-hand market.
I must admit, I've done the Hasegawa one, the Tank Buster version. Very, very nice indeed.
But this is the book to get. Valiant Wings Publications, Airframe and Miniature number 14.
I'm going to start charging Richard Franks.
Yeah.
And this has got every variant, including prototypes of the Stuka. Towards the back, it's got all the kits and aftermarket that you can get. It's got some builds of the better kits that are out there in various scales. Plans at the back. But this was released start of the summer, I think, so it should still be available.
Yeah.
I can highly recommend it.
So what does it say here?
Hasegawa, I would have thought. But...
Probably Hasegawa if you want to pay the money, if you can get it. Nathan's the one to ask, really, because he's the Luftwaffe expert.
I'm back to the one that the Trumpeter one looks like a Stuka. You know.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, this book does say there's accuracy issues with it, but what those accuracy issues are, I couldn't tell you.
I think a lot of the times, I mean, I've built these like the Hobby Boss Tornadoes, which are notoriously, well, got absolutely panned on the internet. But once it's in 3D, and if you put it against scale plans, then here it looks wrong. Once you build it up and it's sat on its wheels, it's not going to look like a Spitfire, is it? It's going to look like a Stuka. So,
yes.
Right.
I would say if accuracy doesn't bother you, then get the Trumpeter ones because they're more readily available and cheaper as well.
So I was about to say, if you want one that's readily available, you want to build it, Trumpeter. If you want to search around and think for accuracy, and Hasegawa. Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Okay.
Ed says, "Hi Phil, I had a thought whilst in the petrol station earlier tonight, putting fuel in, like you do." How about some Flory Models car stickers? I'd certainly get a couple. Thank you for the hard work for the Telford weekend. It was a blast. Yeah, we used to. I've got one stuck to my window over there, the display cabinet. We used to do the car window stickers. So we got the Flory Girl ones back in the day. And then before that, we had the Pro Modeler, the round ones that used to be for windows and stuff. And to be honest, I have one on my patio door, stops a dog running into it when it's closed. So, yeah, it's something we used to do. As I said, I would like to, but like everything, time is definitely not a luxury I have. I might have a word with a marketing company or something else like that for a lot of our new promo stuff, because obviously you say to them, give them the logo and they work it all out for you. So I might end up going down that route and then seeing what stuff they can do with our stuff. Because obviously we need the polo shirts done because I'm running out. Nathan definitely is, because he's on one from like 2010, I think. And then, so we've got to get all this sorted sooner rather than later. So I will have a word see what we can come up with that front of it. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's little things like that I'd like us to do again, so we can spot each other in car parks. Not that we'll probably meet in car parks at night. PM may be available as well on the reverse side of everything we do.
Mine was a prototype.
Yes.
Why is that? Why it's so gone upside down?
It was a bit wonky, I must admit.
Yeah, but you got the proper embroidered patches. We've just got the printed ones.
Yeah, my proper embroidered one, yeah.
Okay, Asterios says, got my hands on this, which is a very nice Spitfire Mark 9.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like exclamation mark 9 in that picture, doesn't it? Slightly,
it's got a bit of
but it definitely looks like it's possibly a Mark 9, a Mark 5. Detail is very nice. The styrene seems good quality. I saw on scale mates that the molds are old, but all the sprues have some flash, but don't mind some cleanup. Do you know how the fit goes together? Again, this is early ICM, isn't it, versus the newer breed we've seen?
Yes.
I reckon it'll be like building a Revell kit. If you clean the parts, it'll be all right.
It's a bit of an handful, but it's really well detailed. You get a full engine and everything in it. It's a proper detail. I think you even get gun bays and stuff, and I think that's where it's kind of Edord 190.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the first one where it's hard work. But I think, like I say, I think it's take your time, test fit, clean, before committing to glue. And I think, to be honest, you won't have a bad looking spit. Obviously now it's been superseded by the Edord one and whatever, but like I say, it is early ICM. It was nice to see them have another bash at it now and see what they do with it this time. I know
this is when ICM used to be a little bit. People would say to you, "Oh, I've got the ICM Spitfire," and you go, "Not as nice as." Now you think of ICM as being good stuff, no problem. But early ICM was always just a little bit, as I say. I think the best way to describe it is probably, it's like Revell. You've got flash issues normally. Yeah, they're always a little bit on the sprue, aren't they? It's not as nice as you say, but once you've cleaned them up and got them together, we've seen some done before, and they look very nice. I've never built one, but
I'll tell you what they do as well. They do some early Mustangs, like the
B.
The Allison engine ones, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which again, I think, when they're built up, you've seen them, they look all right, but I think they're a bit of a handful to put together. So
yeah. But it's nice with that one because you get the pilot and the ground crew and the dog.
You do.
No.
And they're quite cheap, I think. They're not really very expensive.
No, I don't think they are. Yeah.
For what you get. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, we whip through these then. Mike says, Phil, I know you have to thin Hataka and Tamiya lacquers 50-60. Oh, 50 or 60. But to 1. But would you thin MRP to that ratio? No, MRP is very thin right out of the bottle. It's literally like ink. So I have never thinned MRP. I know people who do. They always say a couple of drops self-leveling thinner works absolute treat. I've never done it myself. I've never felt the need to do it, even for doing mottling work and tiny stuff and getting right in there. Usually straight out of the bottle. As long as it's had a damn good shake, you'll be good to go with it. So yeah, MRPs, they are pre-thinned, ready to go straight out of the bottle. Clive says, hello, Flory team. Firstly, a big thank you for the efforts last weekend. Really enjoyed watching the shows. You must have been cream crackered by Sunday evening. Pretty much. You should have seen us after the show. Everyone was like, right, that's it. I'm going to go and die now. I spent last Sunday making the HGW seat belts while watching your shows. There you go. I'm building the Eddard Hellcat, same model as your recent video, and have the Aries resin cockpit that I want to install. Aftermarket certainly problems such as the lack of locating pins and the need to modify the basic kit parts. In this case, I've fully assembled the resin cockpit on the bench and have to reduce the thickness of the parts. That sounds like old Aries, wasn't it? We used to have to thin them to an inch of their life. And then do some test fitting along with the different but in the fuselage. Any helps and tips? Okay, there's a little thing to this where I used to speak about, say, not so much these days because was the old ways, but in the old days, Aries always used to do quite thick parts. And a lot of that is so they could get it out of the mold, purely because I spoke to someone once and that's what they said to me. It was like, we do them that thick so we can get them out of the mold cleanly. Because if it's on very, very thin, like modern resin is now, getting it out of rubber molds is an absolute nightmare. You break more than you actually get out successfully. So they make them deliberately thicker. And then you've got the option of either thinning the plastic on your model or thinning the resin to do it. And I remember back in it would have been the 2000s, of having resin up to the light. So you're sanding it till you can literally see through it. So, and then that way you can get them in. Classic example was not so much the F4s, but the Tomcat. You used to have to thin the plastic and also thin the resin to get the Aries cockpit into the F14As and the Ds in there. Many a time you're literally holding it up to the window, and when you can see light through it, you know to stop because you're just about to go right the way through the wall. And it's just part and parcel of it. Modern stuff, you've probably seen Aries stuff now, especially, they can print it, almost 3D print the resin. So it is ultra thin. It's using that same stuff you sort of have, isn't it, Andy, on yours?
Yeah.
What do they call that type?
Well,
it's not like a PLA printer, is it? It's what do you call yours?
It's a laser print. Laser.
Yes, 3D
laser printer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it had a technical name.
Yeah, no, I think it's just called laser printer. PLAs are the thing with smalls. I think it's just called laser printer.
Oh, right. So they're more like laser printed now. They're very, very fine. They can do it to literally microns thickness, whereas, as I say, when it was old-fashioned bowls being pulled, they needed a bit of meat to them. So it is. At the end of the day, like I always say, when you're doing that type of thing with cockpits, I wouldn't overdo it, because as long as it's in there square, you'll be okay. Okay, it's just getting it all in there. So I always used to do the thing literally of putting it onto one wall. So it's all square and it's flush and it's looking right, and then introduce the other half to it, and then you sand away until you can get it in there. And I used to do it that way with them. Any other advice on resin cockpits?
No.
Like I said, I've been there where you've literally sanded it that far down, the plastic parts, that you can see through them. You just have to keep going and do it a bit at a time. Just keep checking it, don't you? Just make sure it fits, and taking bits off the resin, bits off the plastic, and you'll eventually get there.
Yeah, I remember on the Tomcat, you used to have to thin the actual sidewalls of the plastic. And same thing, you'd hold it up to the light, and you could see the light through it. So you knew you were really thin, and then you've done the thinness of it, and it's the only way you could get the cockpit walls in. But then after doing 2 or 3 of them, I actually worked out that you cut off of some of the areas and just bring the walls in slightly, because no one can tell. It's that thing where you can literally just, because it's separate parts that fold down, and normally they click up and there's like a panel at the back it rests on, cut around the panel, bring the entire thing in, because you can't see, and it's one of those which in a Tomcat, literally, it's a bit like in there, you can't really see much in there, and all that hassle, it's a quick way of going around it. Yes, that's it. So really, that's all I can sort of suggest with that one. It's just, yeah, the modern stuff has come a long way, sort of, 3D printing stuff, and the way aftermarket is now compared to what it was. Colin says, Phil and team, thanks for the Telford weekend shows. Phil, you are enjoying the MRAP or not? Well, I will do. I'm sure it'll come to me. It's like literally building the real thing. That's the trouble. That bit where I said about not doing tanks with full interiors goes for vehicles too, it turns out. Can't really tell from the videos if it's a challenge or a chore. I've just had mine delivered from PM Store last week and can't make my mind up of whether to start it or not. Looks like I've made every single part of the MRAP in miniature detail. I did say to Matt, I feel like I could build the real thing now. It's literally that detailed. To be honest, follow along with my video, because like classic example, there's one bit on here. You can watch it tomorrow because I've done it. And on the instructions, it's clearly going to go a certain way, but it's not. So when I did it, it was like, I've done it the wrong way round. So I had to take it all off and redo it, and I've shown it. And it's one of those ones where it was like, let's hope now that the chassis work and everything's done. It's all completed down in here now. It's all finished off. There's Christ knows how many parts down in there. That's it now. It's done. So literally wheels on and it's finished. So now I can actually get on with the top side, and I'm hopeful that the top side will be a lot easier. But I would say give it a go. Just go for it. Chuck says, can you help me decipher what red 45 degree means on the Fokker DR1 Baron Meng model? I think it means you want to be sure before you mess things up. Hold on, we've got a link.
That's what I was looking at when you were asking me about the printer. Trying to figure out what it was looking at. Have you got your instructions, Matt, for DR1?
I have.
Sorry, mine's got here.
Hold on, I've got my instructions here.
Hey, that's it, Dave. If you open the box, you need to start it.
What we
I'd say if it's telling you to do it on A, C, and D, and you can't figure out what it is, do number B.
Right, what page is he on?
Doesn't say.
Looks like a wing or something. Is it a tail?
Is it the back? Is it the back end of the aircraft?
Yeah, it looks like the tail, doesn't it? Oh yeah, I've got it. So yeah, that's opening up the slots for versions A, C, and D. Yeah, you're opening those up. Literally, as you see it there, if you're doing versions A, C, or D, you're going to slip through and open them up. And it said it's doing it about cutting through it like at a 45-degree angle. Because I assume whatever's going to come through there is how it's going to be.
What page do you want, Phil?
Page 3.
So it might be worth reading forward and seeing what it is that goes in it.
So I think that's the fuselage half as you look at it.
From building the Eddard one, I think that's a carry handle. It's like a grab handle in that area on some of them. If you look on step 6, it's F7.
So I think what it is, you would come out on the 90-degree bend. So if that's the bend of the fuselage, as you look at it, you're going to come in literally like that. So it comes through at the 45-degree. So then the handle then probably goes on the bottom. So it'd be 45 degrees hanging outside. That's what that's getting at.
I don't know, it might not be the grab handle because it's on all of them.
Well, it's got 4 grab handles if it is. But yeah, those ones there, I'm pretty sure it's where it's saying, where you've got like the outer skin of the fuselage at the tail, it's saying about drilling through. So this bit here is the bottom, this is the side coming down the side. It's on about coming in at 45 degrees and straight out. So whatever you attach to it is at 45 degrees on the outside as well.
Yeah, I think
I'll go ahead and we'll see what comes out the side.
Was it tie downs or something? Or
I think it was when it's landed, it had these handles, so poor old ground crew could lift the tail up and then manoeuvre the aircraft around. So I think it's like it's literally.
It is. You are right, Nathan. It is. It's grab handles. But to be honest, I can't see them where it says about adding grab handles on the instructions.
It's on step 6. It's part F7.
Oh yeah, there it is, F7. Yeah, that's what it would be. But why is it asking to open up 4?
I don't know.
It's saying about opening up 4, but surely you only need 2 holes.
I don't know if there's different size grab handles or something.
Or if it's got an inner, but yeah, it's a bit odd, that one. It might be worth taking off F7, drilling a hole, park it where it is, where the F7 part where it would need to go, and then drill the other one in there.
I got the impression these things landed in whatever direction the aeroplane wanted to land.
Yeah, that's it. They didn't taxi on the ground on their own very well.
It's about because then it's just a matter of some poor sod had to lift up the tail and pull it to where it wanted it to be.
So if you're doing version A, then yeah, the only one that obviously doesn't have those, so it doesn't have the grab handles, then is version B. Which is B.
All right, if you look on, some of them are an F1 and others are for a DR1.
Oh, right.
But I think you drill 2 of the 4 holes, but don't ask me which 2 you drill.
If you're doing the wallpaper version, apparently it doesn't have it, but it has it on the drawing. But that's probably because it's just a generic drawing.
If you're building an F1, you build from the left. You drill the first and the third hole. If you're building a DR1, you drill the second and the 4th hole from the back.
There you go.
It just about. I think the way they printed it, an F1 has disappeared behind some of the holes.
Right.
But, yeah. I think this is the problem, where it's gone from a wing nut to a Meng kit.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. There's a little bit lost in translation in amongst there.
Definitely, the instructions have gone a bit. But it's going to take someone with some insane amount of knowledge to know you've drilled your grab handles in the wrong place.
Yes. Okay, David says, hi guys, thanks and well done for the Telford weekend. Very good. I got nothing done. That means it was a good weekend then. Question, I've been using some dot camo masks on the German Panther, and I think some paint dust has gotten on part of the sticky side and made it useless. Do you have a dot mask camo? How would that work? Which got me thinking, is there a glue out there to bring back the mask to good working order? Can you get a mask set for it for doing all the dot pattern on, can you?
I'd like to say, why don't you just use the one that don't work as a template on some masking tape?
Yeah.
Just make another.
Yeah.
Or your infinity board thing, it's got circles, that'll be the ideal thing. Just put it on one of them and just make yourself another one.
Or do it freehand. Just literally, well, not freehand, but hold the mask there and spray. And then do a few, move it, spray. Just do it literally like that.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is that glue we keep going on about that we can't get hold of from micro scale industries. Do which one I mean?
Oh, that tacky stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that might work. But like you said, I just put masking tape on either side of it, and just like stick it down and just spray it, and use it as a mask.
Yeah. Yeah, that is probably the way I'd just do it. If you can't do it all, if you've, I don't know the mask set in particular, but just use mask tape to hold it in the edges in place whilst you spray it, and just then pick it up, move it, take it all round. Okay, Darren says, last one. I've got a question. I have a bit of overspray that has gone my extreme metal paint finish. I've retouched it up and still getting a visible line where the overspray was. Do I have to reapply back the base coat and then touch it up before reapplying the metal finish? I've had this. To be honest with you, if you can't sand it out with a polisher, because that's normally how I get rid of overspray off a metal. Classic example, when I did the B17, I had a little bit of overspray when I did the walk lines and all the rest of it. So I just literally give it a very light rub with the actual polishing side and took it all off and got rid of it. And one of them, it changed it just a little bit because I started obviously to go a little bit too far through. So I just blew it in and it was absolutely fine. You'd never know where it is. So that's what I would recommend. Just sand it very lightly and then blow it back in and go in. If you try and just overcoat it, if it's obviously you're saying it's a blue, I don't know how dark that blue is, but it might be just because it's a sharp line, it'll always stand. If it was feathered, you probably never notice it, but if it's just like literally like a Sharpie line, it'll come through. Not good. So that's it. Have we got all the holes sorted? We know what we're going now? Yeah,
I think so, yeah. Just follow the instructions for A, C and D.
Yes.
And it'll be all right. You're only going to drill 2 holes, not 4. But this is a nice looking kit, this, isn't it? Oh, I'm not going to start it
now. Just last one. Dave says, hi all. Can I thin AK Real Colors 032 with self-leveling thinners? Never used it before.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So what I did for mine.
Use it exactly like Tamiya.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely fine. No problem at all. And there we go. Sorted. Done. I think.
Bedtime.
Bedtime, indeedy. There we go. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. An absolute pleasure as always. Me and Matt will be with you live around about 2ish. We say this because we might be a little bit late or might be early.
Anybody else on? Anybody else back?
Sorry?
I might be, possibly.
There you go. Andy might be rushing back. John will, because he finishes at 10.
What do you mean some of you've got work? It'll be done by 1:30.
That's it.
I wish.
Definitely. Anyway, so we're going to be on, as I say, we'll try and do it as a sort of catch-up show for the Wednesday show. I know I've got my Q&A as well. And then next week going forward, now things are sort of semi-getting back to normal, what we'll be doing is obviously bringing back the sort of COVID shows. We can't guarantee they'll be every day because life might get in the way, but we're going to try and do live shows in the afternoon. So me, Matt, and the other guys, if they're around to join in and things like that, would be put on just for sort of, sort of 2 hours every day in the afternoon. We do a bit of modelling, we do a bit of yapping, all the bits and pieces, and try and keep you entertained for this next round of lockdowns.
All 3 weeks of it.
All 3 weeks. We've got 3 weeks left, have we?
So then we can get an haircut.
Yeah.
That's it. Then we'll all get a jab. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
My thing is, if it's stored at -70, are they going to warm it up before they put it in?
I hope so.
Jesus. Yeah, frostbite in my arm. Anyway, there we go, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. As I say, we're back with you. If you are around too, if not, don't panic. It will be up. I will put it up into the forum and all the usual bits and pieces so you can join in and watch a little bit later on. Tomorrow will be part 4, which finishes off the actual entire underside, chassis work, engine, all the bits and pieces, suspension on the MRAP. So that will complete that one. And then next week, as I said, we're going to be working on the top side of it. And I'm going to start on my Star Trek thing. Also, thank you very much. We've got the GR3 in here, which I'll probably do a live unboxing tomorrow with Matt. So we've got the GR3 in here. So yes, sorted. We'll be good to go. Anything else?
GR3 what?
Harrier.
Oh, you've got one, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, like that, is it?
Because I'm special.
Everybody's got one by a bloody shop.
Yeah, basically. Yes, that's technically how it is, I'm afraid.
That's how it's done.
Can't even get a price for them.
No, it's mad, isn't it?
I'm not bitter, one bit, honest.
It's not like, the Harrier will be popular in the UK,
No, that's it. You might as well sell it all around the world first, and clearly we'll just have it later on, isn't it?
Yeah, when nobody wants it, we'll be stuck with it.
Basically, yes.
Hey, they're on very thin ice.
Yeah, they are actually. We might be dropping them at this rate.
Pair of them.
Hey?
I said the pair of them are on very, very thin ice with me.
Yes.
So, yes.
Mind you, this one's come all the way from Bolton.
Oh, has it?
Yeah. It hasn't come from them at all. It's come from Bolton.
Bill, you'll build that in a flash. I bet you'll be itching to build it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Any excuse to spin off the MRAP.
Yeah, that's it. Can I swap out and bin off the MRAP and do that one?
The MRAP might be taking a quiet sort of shift.
No, it won't. It's absolutely fine. It's fine. No problem. He's not even in chat now.
Has he gone?
I don't know if I could say it's his kit.
Calm. Secret.
That's it. I don't want to drop him in it or anything, so I don't want to say anything.
It's nudge, nudge, wink, wink, that one, Phil.
It is. It's a review one. He's going to have it back. Don't panic. It's just that I don't want to say it in case I'm not allowed to. But he sent me his, and then, yes. We'll go from there.
I'm sure he said he was getting 2.
Yeah, he said he was getting 4, actually. That's why I ended up with one. And then I said to him, well, that's all right, send me one, and I'll replace it with a brand new one from the store. But we might not even get them at this rate. So,
well, if you can get an AV8A one, it's good for the high seasick next year.
You could do a Matador.
Yeah, do the Matador. That'd be a nice one. We said that. I like the Matador. Very nice.
Matadors quite cool, aren't they?
I do. I like the Matador ones. They're cool. So, yes. Cool.
Just sorry before we stop, but just think like John, Mr. Buller here, has proper done one with the IC6 because he had a 124 Harrier he could have built for that. No, sold it.
Yeah, he's giving it up.
You crafty
Oh, that's a shame.
Dodged that bullet, isn't he? Anyway, just on the other note as well, as you can see, this is our little test. As you see, the control, which is white tack, is still very erect, but unfortunately, the hybrid now has drooped. He's gone a little bit limp. So we know what we're saying, guys. If you want to keep it up, you need to go with the pure little white tack version. And obviously don't put clever putty in with it. Otherwise, it's going to go a bit limp.
Hey, mix it with a bit of ground up Viagra.
Well, this is it. Then I'll never be able to bend it. Right. Okay then, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. We are out of here. Say lovely to see you tomorrow afternoon if you want to join us live. If not, we'll see you obviously next week to make our way through with all the shows and all the gossip and all the good bits to go. Thank you very much for the team for joining us. Thank you for you guys for joining in with chat as well. Absolute pleasure. We will see you all tomorrow. Say goodbye, team.
Bye.
Bye.